Jjalis with my news of the day on February 9, 2026. Report: Eritrea denies accusations of border incursion. Title: Eritrea accuses Ethiopia of fabricating report its troops had crossed the border. Author: Damian Zain. Source: BBC News. Date: recent report. Summary: the article reports on rising tensions between Eritrea and Ethiopia after Ethiopia accused Eritrean troops of crossing its northern borders and supporting rebel groups. Eritrea denied the claims, calling them fabricated and part of a hostile campaign against it. The situation raises concerns about a potential renewed conflict between the neighboring countries, which have a long history of border disputes and past wars. Key points: Ethiopia's accusations. Ethiopia's Foreign Minister Gedeon Timotheus sent a letter to Eritrea demanding withdrawal of Eritrean troops. Alleged Eritrean actions include incursion into Ethiopia's northeastern borders, joint military exercises with rebel groups in northwestern regions, and supplying weapons. The Ethiopian government described these as provocations and acts of outright aggression. Ethiopia suggested that withdrawal could open dialogue, including discussions on landlocked Ethiopia's access to the sea through the port of Assab. Eritrea's response: Eritrea's information ministry denied all allegations, calling them patently false and fabricated. Eritrea stated it has no desire to escalate tensions or engage in meaningless acrimony. Eritrea accused Ethiopia of creating false flags to justify a potential war. Historical context: Eritrea gained independence from Ethiopia 3 decades ago. The countries fought a border war between 1998 and 2000, resulting in over 100,000 deaths. A peace deal was never fully implemented, though relations eased in 2018 after Ethiopian PM Abiy Ahmed visited Asmara. Eritrea previously supported Ethiopia in its civil war against Tigrayan forces, but alliances have shifted. Recent developments: Ethiopia alleges Eritrean involvement with rebels in Tigray, violating the post-Civil War peace deal. Ethiopian authorities seized ammunition last month allegedly sent by Eritrea to rebels. Abiy Ahmed also reiterated allegations of Eritrean involvement in the Aksu massacre during the 2020-2022 Tigray conflict, which Eritrea denies. Significance: the exchange of accusations represents a deterioration of relations and raises fears of renewed military conflict. Key issues include border security, control over strategic areas, and Ethiopia's long-standing desire for access to the sea. Conclusion: the article highlights escalating tensions and mutual distrust between Eritrea and Ethiopia, rooted in historical conflicts and recent civil war dynamics. The situation underscores regional instability in the Horn of Africa and the risk of renewed clashes if diplomatic solutions are not pursued. My next news is how off-the-shelf drones are changing jihadist warfare in West Africa. Author: Makochi Okafor. Source: BBC Africa, Lagos. Date: recent report. Summary: the article explains how jihadist groups in West Africa are increasingly using commercially available drones to carry out attacks, surveillance, and reconnaissance. This development marks a significant shift in the tactics of extremist groups, allowing them to conduct what analysts describe as a growing war from the skies. The use of inexpensive, easily obtainable drones has raised serious security concerns across the Sahel and Lake Chad regions. Key points: rising drone warfare. A violence monitoring organization, ECOLT, recorded at least 69 drone strikes by an Al-Qaeda affiliate in Burkina Faso and Mali since 2023. 2 Islamic State affiliates carried out around 20 additional strikes, mostly in Nigeria. These numbers show a steady increase in the use of aerial attacks by militant groups. Recent attack example: a major drone-assisted assault occurred in Nigeria's northeastern Borno state on January 29. Militants used multiple armed drones alongside ground fighters to attack a military base. Nigeria's military reported that 9 soldiers were killed. The attack was attributed to the Islamic State of West Africa province, identified as one of the most active African affiliates in drone warfare. Type of drones used: most attacks involve commercially available quadcopter drones that are relatively inexpensive and easy to modify. These drones are often fitted with small explosive devices and are also used for intelligence gathering before ground assaults. Analysts emphasize that such drones are not advanced military technology but ordinary consumer products adapted for combat, security, and smuggling concerns. Even though Nigeria maintains strict controls on drone imports and requires official permission for their use, extremist groups manage to obtain them through smuggling networks and porous regional borders. This highlights weaknesses in border security and enforcement systems across West Africa. Regional spread. Drone strikes have not been limited to one country. Incidents have also been reported in Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. Another Islamic State affiliate, the Islamic State of Sahel Province, allegedly used drones in an attack on the international airport in Niger's capital, Niamey, injuring several military personnel. Technological escalation. The Al-Qaeda-linked group Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslimin has been identified as the most frequent drone user. Reports indicate the group has experimented with first-person view drones, which allow pilots to guide devices in real time for more precise targeting. This technique mirrors methods seen in other global conflicts and signals a rapid evolution in militant capabilities. Impact on warfare. Security analysts warn that drones lower the cost of attacks, reduce risks for militants, and increase the accuracy and reach of strikes. The technology enables groups to gather intelligence and hit targets that were previously difficult to access. This shift makes extremist operations more efficient and potentially more dangerous for both military forces and civilians. Conclusion. The article highlights a growing transformation in militant strategy across West Africa. The adaptation of simple commercial drones into weapons demonstrates how accessible technology can significantly alter conflict dynamics. Experts view this trend as a serious regional security challenge, requiring stronger border controls, updated defense strategies, and improved international cooperation to counter the evolving threat. My next news is, Africa must unite amid global uncertainty. Title: Africa must unite amid global uncertainty. Mantas. Source: SNews. Author: snnews.gov.ca. Date: Monday, February 9, 2026. Summary. The article reports on remarks by South Africa's Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe at the Investing in Africa Mining Indaba in Cape Town. The minister emphasized the need for African countries to act collectively amid global geopolitical tensions and highlighted strategies to strengthen Africa's control over its critical mineral resources. Key points. Call for unity. Mantashe urged African nations to collaborate during a period of profound global uncertainty. Global competition for natural resources threatens the sovereignty of resource-rich African countries. The theme of the Indaba, Stronger Together, Progress through Partnerships, reflects a strategic imperative to act collectively and speak with one voice. Critical Minerals Strategy. African Ministers' Critical Minerals Roundtable aims to strengthen continental leadership on minerals. Focus on deepening collaboration, accelerating responsible exploration, and ensuring Africa captures more value from its resources. Emphasis on moving beyond extraction to industrialization and value addition closer to production points. South African Mining Industry. Comprehensive study on mining and development of the critical mineral strategy completed. Strategy implementation underway. Allied with G20 declaration to position South Africa and Africa for greater control over strategic resources. Regulatory framework being reviewed to ensure certainty, transparency, and predictability while attracting investment and ensuring equitable benefit sharing. Policy adjustments. Removal of Black Economic Empowerment (BE) requirement at prospecting stage to stimulate exploration. Clarified that this is not a retreat from transformation but a pragmatic step to encourage high-risk prospecting. Early results. Opening of operations at 5 mines, 358 prospecting rights, and 32 mining rights granted between February 2025 and January 2026. Conclusion. The article underscores South Africa's leadership in promoting African unity and strategic control over mineral resources. Mantashe highlighted the importance of collective action, regulatory certainty, and investment-friendly policies to enhance Africa's global share in the mining sector while maintaining economic transformation goals. The endowment serves as a platform for collaboration, partnerships, and long-term development of the continent's mining industry. My next news is South Africa-China trade deal. Title: Facing high Trump tariffs, Africa's leading economy says it's close to a new trade deal with China. Source: AP News. Author Gerald M. Ray. Date: February 9, 2026. Summary: the article reports on South Africa's efforts to secure a new trade agreement with China in response to high U.S. import tariffs under the Trump administration. The framework agreement aims to boost South African exports, particularly fruit, while offering China expanded investment opportunities. The deal underscores South Africa's pivot toward China amid strained U.S.-South Africa relations. Key points: trade agreement. South Africa and China signed a framework agreement to negotiate a trade deal. Expected finalization by end of March 2026. South African goods like fruit may receive duty-free access to the Chinese market. China gains increased investment opportunities, especially in sectors such as mining, agriculture, renewable energy, technology, and automotive. U.S.-South Africa trade tensions. U.S. imposed 30% tariffs on some South African exports under Trump's reciprocal tariffs policy. South Africa continues to negotiate for better terms with the U.S. U.S. extended the African Growth and Opportunity Act only until year-end and signaled modifications aligned with America First policy. China-South Africa relations. China is South Africa's largest trade partner for imports and exports. Chinese influence in Africa is strong, particularly in critical minerals extraction. Chinese electric vehicle brands, including BYD, have grown rapidly, overtaking Tesla globally in 2025. Economic impact. South Africa's major exports to China: gold, iron ore, platinum group metals. Chinese core sales in South Africa increased from roughly 2.8% market share in 2020 to 11 to 15% last year. Trade deal expected to benefit key sectors and enhance economic cooperation. Diplomatic context. U.S.-South Africa ties strained over alleged anti-American policies and disputed claims regarding the treatment of white farmers. Trump barred South Africa from attending G20 meetings in the U.S. this year. Conclusion. The article highlights South Africa's strategic pivot toward China to offset the impact of U.S. tariffs and political tensions. The emerging trade deal illustrates growing Chinese influence in Africa and South Africa's efforts to secure new economic opportunities amid shifting global trade dynamics. My next news is Nicki Minaj supports Trump Golden Card visa. Title: Trinidadian singer Nicki Minaj showcases Golden Card visa, praises Trump at Washington summit. Author: Sasha Baptiste. Source: Wick News. Date: updated February 9, 2026. Summary. The article reports on Trinidadian rapper and singer Nicki Minaj publicly supporting former President Donald Trump's new Golden Card visa program during the Trump Accounts Summit in Washington, D.C. Minaj praised the program, appeared on stage with Trump, and shared her support on social media, which drew both attention and online criticism. Key points. Event details. Trump Accounts Summit organized by U.S. Treasury Department in Washington, D.C. Nicki Minaj brought on stage by President Trump after endorsing the tax advantage savings scheme for American children. Photographs show Minaj holding hands with Trump. Trump joked about emulating her nails. Minaj gave a speech declaring herself Trump's #1 fan and posted pictures with her Golden Card visa on social media. Golden Card visa program provides unlimited U.S. residency but does not immediately grant citizenship. Program launched December 2025. Requires payment of $1 million and $15,000 processing fee. Targets wealthy immigrants and high-profile individuals, including Minaj. Scheme fast-tracks U.S. residency and potential pathway to citizenship. Public reaction. Minaj's post praising Trump and showing her Golden Card visa received backlash online, including criticism from fans. Critics argue the program is controversial, launched while Trump was opposing illegal immigration, highlighting perceived contradictions. Significance. Minaj's support emphasizes the popularity of the program among wealthy and high-profile individuals. Her public endorsement and visibility brought further attention to Trump's Golden Card visa initiative. Conclusion. The article highlights a high-profile intersection of celebrity influence and U.S. immigration policy. Nicki Minaj's public support of Trump's Golden Card visa, despite criticism, underscores how celebrity endorsements can shape public perception of controversial political programs and initiatives. My next news is alleged cybercrime by Hurricane Gabriel. Title: Trinidadian allegedly leaks intimate images of 132 women. Labeled Hurricane Gabriel. Author: Sasha Baptiste. Source: Wick News. Date: updated February 9, 2026. Summary: the article reports on a cybercrime investigation in Guyana involving a Trinidadian national, Gabriel Harrigan, known online as Hurricane Gabriel. He was arrested following multiple allegations of non-consensual sharing of intimate photos and videos of women. The case has sparked public outrage, social media debates, and scrutiny over online victim blaming. Key points: arrest and allegations. Gabriel Harrigan arrested in early February 2026 by Guyanese authorities. Allegedly leaked private photos and videos of women without consent. Alleged victims reportedly number up to 132, though police have not officially confirmed. The allegations remain under investigation. Viral video controversy. A short video surfaced showing Harrigan socializing with a woman in an orange outfit, kissing her on the cheek. Social media users falsely linked the woman to explicit videos, resulting in derogatory labels and rumors about her health and morality. The woman publicly denied any sexual activity with Harrigan, clarified the interaction was brief, and emphasized she blocked him after noticing inappropriate messages. She expressed that online backlash severely affected her mental health, family relationships, and daily life. Public response and victim blaming. Social media users continued to spread misinformation, including false claims about HIV and intimate activity. The woman maintains her innocence, explaining the videos circulating online do not involve her and were shared without consent. The incident highlights the dangers of online harassment and victim blaming in cybercrime cases. Police investigation. Authorities confirmed Harrigan's arrest after multiple complaints. He denies the allegations, claiming his mobile phone was stolen and hacked, and that videos were shared without his knowledge. Total number of complainants and potential additional charges remain unconfirmed. Investigation is ongoing. Conclusion. The article underscores a complex cybercrime case involving non-consensual sharing of intimate material and the social repercussions for alleged victims. It illustrates the challenges authorities face in investigating online crimes and the harmful effects of misinformation and online harassment on individuals' mental health and reputations. My next news is Belize domestic murder cases. Title: 2 men accused of killing their wives appear in Belize High Court. Author: Sasha Baptiste. Source: updated February 9, 2026. Summary. The article reports on 2 separate domestic murder cases in Belize involving Miguelito Encalada and Juan Carlos Novello. Both men appeared before Justice Candice Nathan in the High Court for Case Management Conferences, CMC, as their trials approached. The hearings focused on timelines, submission of evidence, and preparation for the trials. Key points. First case, Miguelito Encalada, age 39, barber from Ladyville Village, charged with murdering his wife, Desiree Elizabeth Gonzalez, and his brother, George Vincent Rochester, on April 20, 2023. Encalada and his wife operated Dee's Bistro and a barber shop. Defense, represented by Harold Hamilton, intends to challenge admissibility of a police interview. Voir dire will be held before trial. Defense must submit written grounds by February 28, 2026. Additional CMC scheduled for March 12, 2026 at 1 p.m. Trial dates: March 19th, 20th, 23rd to 27th, and 30th to 31st, 2026. Crown Counsel Denfield Dennison outlined witnesses: 1 for direct examination, 2 for cross-examination, and 3 for statements. Second case, Juan Carlos Novello, age 44, maintenance worker from Cape Cocker, charged with murdering his wife, Leslie Margarita Berde, 32, on November 4, 2023. Defense represented by Leroy Banner. Crown to present a second expert report. Defense to submit application for further expert evidence and bill for government funding by February 27, 2026. Crown to submit readable postmortem report by March 13, 2026. Trial scheduled for June 29, 2026. Expected to last 5 to 10 days. Trial includes expert testimony, minor witnesses, and managing language barriers. Additional CMC scheduled for April 13, 2026. Custody. Both suspects remain at Belize Central Prison until at least April 13, 2026. Conclusion. The article provides detailed information on the preparation and timelines for 2 serious domestic murder cases in Belize. It highlights court procedures, legal representation strategies, and the careful planning required before the trials, reflecting the judiciary's process in handling complex criminal cases. My next news is Barbados International Airport passenger record. Title: Barbados International Airport sets historic record. Welcomes over 2.4 million visitors in 2025. Author Kofi Nelson. Source: WIC News. Date: February 9, 2026. Summary. The article reports that currently Adams International Airport, GAIA, in Barbados handled over 2.4 million passengers in 2025, marking a historic high for the airport. This milestone reflects steady growth in passenger demand, effective management, and operational excellence at the airport. Key points. Passenger growth. The 2.4 million passengers represent a 1.9% increase over 2024. Compared with 2019, this is a 5.2% rise. Highlights sustained demand for air travel to and from Barbados. Operational excellence. The airport achieved this milestone without major operational issues. The performance showcases the airport's capacity, operational systems, and readiness. CEO Hadley Bourne emphasized that success is due to disciplined execution rather than just scale. Organizational achievement. 2025 coincided with the airport's 20th year of incorporated operations. GIA Inc. recognized as a benchmark for small airport operations, admired for standards and systems. Safe and responsible handling of passengers reflects coordinated operations among staff, air traffic controllers, airline partners, ground handlers, security, and concessionaires. Tourism and future expectations. The record underscores Barbados' continued appeal as a tourist destination. Sustained growth highlights the importance of modernization and improving airport experience for travelers and stakeholders. Authorities note that increased passenger demand brings new expectations for efficiency, safety, and service quality. Conclusion. The article emphasizes that currently Adams International Airport's record-breaking year is the result of effective management, teamwork, and operational planning. It also demonstrates Barbados' growing tourism appeal and the airport's role in supporting safe, reliable, and high-quality air travel experiences for millions of visitors. My next news is St. Lucia cruise ship arrivals. Title: St. Lucia to receive 26 cruise ships this week. Author Kofi Nelson. Source: WIC News. Date: February 9, 2026. Summary. The article reports on St. Lucia's busy cruise schedule for the second week of February. The island is set to receive 26 cruise ships, bringing an influx of tourists and boosting the local tourism sector. This marks a significant opportunity for visitors to explore the island's beaches, cultural attractions, and adventurous activities. Key points. Tourism impact. The cruise arrivals are expected to introduce many visitors to St. Lucia's local culture, traditions, and cuisine. Popular attractions include beaches such as Anse Chastanay and Riduit Beach, as well as adventurous activities like hiking the Tetons and ziplining through rainforests. The St. Lucia Tourism Authority highlighted the excitement of welcoming new visitors eager to experience the island's beauty and hospitality. Recent arrivals. Port Castries has already welcomed 5 cruise ships in the last 2 days. IDA Perla, February 7th. Morella Discovery 2, February 7th. Evarma, February 7th. Le Dumont d'Orville, February 7th. Royal Clipper, February 8th. Ships arriving today. On February 9th, 3 additional ships are scheduled to arrive. Explorer 2 with 100 passengers. Sea Cloud 2 with 96 travelers. Lobellet with 184 visitors. Significance. The schedule demonstrates Port Castries' capacity to handle multiple large vessels and thousands of passengers simultaneously. It also reflects St. Lucia's growing popularity as a cruise destination and the economic benefits associated with increased tourism. Conclusion. The article highlights a busy week for St. Lucia's tourism industry, emphasizing both the logistical success of managing multiple cruise arrivals and the cultural and recreational opportunities available to visitors. The arrival of 26 cruise ships is expected to bring significant exposure, economic gain, and international attention to the island. My next news is Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show. Title: Trump labels Bad Bunny's Super Bowl show one of the worst. Source: various news outlets. Date: February 9th. Summary: the article reports on the controversy surrounding Bad Bunny's halftime performance at Super Bowl 60 in Levi's Stadium. While the Puerto Rican artist received praise for his high-energy show and cultural tributes, former President Donald Trump sharply criticized the performance, sparking a debate between cultural celebration and political opinion. Key points. Trump's criticism. Donald Trump called the halftime show one of the worst ever and an affront to the greatness of America. He described the performance as absolutely terrible and claimed it did not meet U.S. standards of success, creativity, or excellence. He also criticized the Spanish-language lyrics and the dancing, which he deemed inappropriate for children. Trump used his statement to highlight economic achievements and criticize NFL rules. Bad Bunny's performance. Bad Bunny's set was a high-energy celebration of Puerto Rican culture. Highlights included surprise appearances by Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin, a real wedding performed on stage, tributes to Latin American countries, celebrity cameos from Cardi B, Pedro Pascal, and Karol G. The show featured dynamic choreography, innovative camera work, and crowd surfing, creating a visually engaging and culturally rich experience. Reception. The performance received mixed reactions. Conservative groups and Trump condemned the show, focusing on language and perceived inappropriateness. Meanwhile, major media outlets and many viewers praised the energy, creativity, and message of cultural pride and unity. Conclusion. The article illustrates the divide between political criticism and popular reception. While some criticized the show for not aligning with traditional U.S. expectations, many appreciated it as a celebration of Puerto Rican culture and a bold, memorable halftime performance. The controversy highlights how cultural performances can become points of political and social debate. My next news is EU antitrust action. European Commission sent statement of objections to Meta platforms. Meta. Preliminary view. Meta breached EU competition rules by blocking third-party AI assistance on WhatsApp. WhatsApp update. On October 15, 2025, Meta updated WhatsApp business solution terms. Third-party general-purpose AI assistance banned. Since January 15, only Meta AI available. Competitors excluded. Interim measures. EU plans interim measures to prevent serious and irreparable market harm. Measures subject to Meta's reply and rights of defense. Goal. Preserve competition. Maintain access for competitors while investigation continues. Regulator statement. Teresa Ribera, Executive Vice President, said dominant tech companies cannot leverage dominance unfairly. Interim measures aim to protect competition in Europe. Dominance and abuse. Commission preliminarily concludes Meta likely dominant in EA consumer communication ads market, mainly via WhatsApp, likely abusing dominance by denying access to other businesses, including AI assistants. WhatsApp is important entry point for general-purpose AI assistants. Risk assessment. Urgent protective measures needed due to serious, irreparable damage risk. Meta's policy may raise barriers to entry, hinder expansion, marginalize smaller competitors. Exceptions. Statement covers EA except Italy. Italian Competition Authority imposed interim measures on Meta in December 2025. Next steps. Statement of objections does not determine probe outcome. Meta may respond to Commission's concerns. My next news is story by Jai Hamid. Date February 9th. Key takeaways. Moon first. Elon Musk said the moon is now SpaceX's top priority. Goal: self-growing city. Faster than Mars. Potential completion in less than 10 years. Mars would take over 20 years. Spreading life beyond Earth remains the goal, but Moon is more realistic. Mars trips. Launch opportunities once every 26 months. Trip takes 6 months. Moon reachable every 10 days, 2-day trip. Faster testing, launching, building, iteration. XAI acquisition. SpaceX acquired XAI in March 2025. Chatbot Grok integrated into X platform. Elon aims to combine AI, rockets, satellites, mobile tech, social media. Goal: most ambitious, vertically integrated innovation engine on and off Earth. Includes AI, space-based internet, real-time information, free speech platform. Tech to support moon bases, factories, communications independently of Earth. Automated development. Self-growing bases, automated factories, building more bases without human help. Marspno. Mars City still planned in 5 to 7 years. Moon priority because faster for securing future of civilization. NASA Crew 12. Launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Florida. No earlier than 6:01 a.m. EST Wednesday, February 11th. Docking next morning 10:30 a.m. For astronauts. Jessica May Ian, Jack Hathaway, NASA, Sophie Adenauer, ESA, Andrei Fediev, Roscosmos. 12th crew rotation under NASA Commercial Crew Program. 13th human flight on SpaceX Dragon since 2020. Timeline shift. Elon previously aimed for Mars by 2026. Delayed. Now Moon first, Mars later. My next news is Jake Paul, who lives in Puerto Rico, called Bad Bunny a fake American during a halftime show rant. Story by Arushi Jacob. Date February 9th. Key takeaways. Halftime rant. Jake Paul urged fans to turn off the Super Bowl during Bad Bunny's performance. He called him a fake American and criticized his stance on America. Puerto Rico controversy. Jake Paul and Logan Paul moved to Puerto Rico in 2021 for tax benefits. Logan Paul earlier accused Bad Bunny of hypocrisy regarding tax programs mentioned in a documentary about gentrification. Law enforcement comments. Jake Paul also criticized opponents of ICE and said people who oppose law enforcement should not rely on emergency services. He mocked Billie Eilish for anti-ICE statements. Influencer and professional boxer Jake Paul posted on X on Sunday telling viewers to turn off the Super Bowl during Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny's halftime performance. He wrote that people should purposely turn off the halftime show and rally together to show corporations they cannot act without consequences. He said viewers are the benefit and should realize their power, ending by calling the performer a fake American citizen who publicly hates America. Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul moved to Puerto Rico in 2021 mainly for tax advantages, as Logan Paul explained in an interview with Graham Bensinger. In 2022, Logan Paul criticized Bad Bunny on the Philip DeFranco show, saying he found it hypocritical that Bad Bunny lives in Puerto Rico while privately using the same tax program he publicly condemns. This comment followed the release of the documentary El Apadan, a Key Vive Gente, which focused on gentrification and the displacement of local Puerto Ricans caused by wealthy outsiders using tax incentive programs. Jake Paul later wrote on X that people who criticize immigration and customs enforcement should not rely on emergency services. He stated that if someone does not like ICE, they should not call 911 when in trouble and should not depend on law enforcement agents if they do not respect them. He also directed a post at Billie Eilish after she condemned ICE at the 2026 Grammy Awards, referring to her as Billie Eilish. He wrote that if her home were broken into, it would not be an anti-ICE reaction. My next news is, in the next video, I will now continue playing my home-made Okano music. I am Rayme Jurmain Djalis, and this was my news of the day on February 9th, 2026.
Cool breeze in my lungs. higher.